just read the letter that I wrote to Abby. In that letter, I say that I don't want to die without knowing what it's like to feel his embrace. And I say that I'm on the verge of leaving you in order to pursue a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship with Abby. That's what I said in the letter to Abby.
You say you have been on the verge of doing it many times. You said that's what you want to do. That you wanted to do and still want to do at the time.
I feel the truth is that I loved you. I wanted to be in a relationship with you, Isel. I wanted to marry you, Isel Mazard. I wanted to have a baby with you, Isel Mazard. I wanted to have Mars as our child. And I wanted Alexandra to be my adoptive child as well. But I couldn't have that. I had fucked up our relationship so many times, and I felt like giving up. I felt that I had publicly embarrassed myself. I'd been kicked off of your YouTube channel. I had been prevented from seeing your daughter ever again, and you'd broken up with me so many times. I also said that in the letter, I feel like a weak-willed person that I accepted you breaking up with me so many times, and you telling me what your standards are, and that I just needed to obey and live up to your expectations. I felt I wanted independence, I wanted freedom, and when you broke up with me, that was when I considered maybe I should just break up with Isel, or maybe, whatever, you broke up with me. When you broke up with me, when our relationship was in peril, in jeopardy, when we had many days in which we had arguments and so on, yes, I felt, look, okay, if Isel breaks up with me, then I will be with Abhishek, I will try it. And of course, I'm talking to Abhishek here, I'm trying to express my love to him. So, yeah, I say a bunch of, what was the word you used? Exaggerated things to him about what I actually felt and how I was dreaming about him and so on. Making him out to be such a great guy, that he'd been so devoted to me, that he loved me, when really I was just an unpaid cam whore to him the entire time. You've been reading the messages. You see, he didn't do anything for me.
I will read this.
He sent me 2 gifts. One was a plain black pair of Dickies pants. 2 was a Kindle. Not even like a fancy Kindle. Yeah. It was like the cheapest one.
Kindle Paperwhite.
Yeah.
Not in that order. Okay, nevertheless, I am going to read this to you. So, again, I can pause anytime, respond.
And 0 other payments. 0. He never gave me money. I never gave him money. I sent him a gift when his grandmother passed away.
Yep.
And I had donuts sent to him when he was going to India. And this was when I sent this letter.
Okay.
That's it. That's the financial aspect of... He's a $500,000. He told me later on that he's a $500,000. And this is what he gave for me? No, I was just an unpaid, retarded cam whore for him.
And you have no reason to think you were his only cam whore. You could have had 5 other girls.
Many other.
Doing the same thing.
Yep.
Okay. You say to Abby, you came along and showed me this pure, unconditional love. I've shared with you my most intimate experiences, thoughts, and feelings. You've loved me despite the imperfections and failures. Again, this is surreal. The reality is, it's like cam whore work.
Yep.
Unpaid cam. Since April, we've sent messages to each other almost every day, from 8 o'clock in the morning until midnight. It's mind-blowing how this took over your whole life.
Yep, so many hours sunk into this deluded, horrible, stupid mistake.
The only times we weren't talking were when my conscience was telling me to stop going further, as I knew I was falling for you, meaning falling in love with you. But once I had felt your affection, I didn't want to let it go. I think I initiated each time we started talking again. For me, this has been real love. I've lost sleep over you. I've fallen asleep thinking about you. I've dreamed about you. I've woken up thinking about you. Footnote, you've also masturbated about the guy. Meant if you masturbated on camera for the guy, but you also have told him you think about him when you masturbate, even when you're not on camera, right? I've lost hours of productivity staring off into space thinking about you. For the better part of a year now, my mind has been occupied with thoughts of you.
It's a complete delusion. It's not that I loved him, I loved the delusion of him. What I had built up in my mind.
You are not saying...
What I'm saying there is not true. He did not show me unconditional love at all. He had text messages with me in private, in secrecy, that were going to be completely secret for the rest of our lives because, well, if his family found out, oh, that would be terrible. Oh, if Isel found out, oh, that would be terrible. So it's this fake, uncommitted relationship in which he is responding to my messages, reading my messages. Doesn't mean he loves me at all. Nothing in what he's done for me. Masturbating on camera, ejaculating into a toilet.
Yes.
That is not love. that is just 100% somebody feeling horny, needing to relieve themselves.
It's America's favorite pastime. It's taken over more than baseball. It is just a form of...
this is a virgin guy.
Yes, he's a 30-year-old virgin.
With a fucked up dick.
Mm-hmm. Masturbating
to pictures of
and chit-chatting with a...
He's hideously ugly.
Yes.
He's stupid.
It is standard
He's
camera
morally
work.
bad.
It's what most people pay for on OnlyFans, but you fell in love with him and you tell him it is real love.
Well, it's complete horseshit.
You are not saying to him...
Horrible,
you are not saying to him in this message...
It's stupid. It's evil. It's the worst thing I've ever done in my life.
You are not saying to him that you love Isel and him equally. You are not saying to him you love Isel primarily and you want to have sex with him on the side. That would be, I don't know, less evil. You are telling him in this completely clearly, you don't love Isel at all. You're just trying to dump Isel and get with him. You are completely in love with him. That is the message of this.
Yeah,
So
but in my day-to-day life with you, you've said that I was a horrible battle axe, that I was...
Wait. In your daily life with me...
I was abusive to you.
Wait, that's all true. In your daily life with me, you would have
So
probably
you
had
didn't
sex...
feel I
Listen.
You said the sex was
this
bad.
day,
You said
the
that I
day
was
this was
terrible,
written, the day this was written, we would have had sex 3 times or something, like 3 to 5 times. We don't know the particular.
And it was terrible sex for you.
I don't remember. I mean, I can't remember the specific day, but I'm just saying, you and I were having sex multiple times a day, every day. We were during exactly this period of time. We're walking to the ocean, looking at the ocean in the mountains, and talking about the book I'm writing. We're talking about your education, your future. I'm talking to you about your conflict with your parents health problems. We're having all kinds of intimate discussions about all kinds of important things. I'm being very caring and supportive of you throughout. I'm also having a lot of sex. You are not writing to Abby saying, I have a wonderful life here with a man who loves me and supports me. A man, I'm also going to use a lot of time talking about what you want to study in university. You're talking about going back to university. I'm just positively involved in your life in all those ways. And you're having a ton of orgasms with me every day. Again, I can't remember the specific day or specific month, but
there's a certain point in which I started keeping track of these things a little bit better. I started keeping track of time lost and things that I did, and I was keeping track of things on spreadsheets because I take my temperature for fertility reasons.
Right.
So yes, I have some record of this. I would have to go back to look at the certain days, but yes, there were many days in which I was abusive to you.
Yes.
And I get what you're saying, that we had many days in which it was pleasant to me.
No, I'm not even saying whether it's pleasant or unpleasant. We were having a ton of sex, and I was positively involved in all the struggles in your life, like your struggle to find a job, your struggle to find education. That's all I'm saying. I mean, whether or not it's pleasant doesn't matter. I'm just saying we have
positively involved in your struggles. Was I talking about the books with you?
Yes.
Was I giving effort this way?
Yes, absolutely.
Was I there every time that you live streamed?
Yes, unless you were in the hospital or something. Yes.
Was I there every time that you recorded a video?
Again, unless there were a couple times you weren't because you had something else to do, but the vast majority.
Was I doing your dishes?
Yes, I did your dishes too, but yes, we both do dishes.
Was I doing your laundry?
Yes, you do 99% of the laundry.
So that's what I'm saying.
I'd like to say we're close to even on doing.
I know. That's not online.
I know. We're in agreement about this. The thing is, but what you are saying to him is, you don't want to be with me. What you want is to be with him. You're just trapped with me by circumstances.
I want an excitement thing. I want a. This is living out a fantasy that I've already did live out. I left my ex-boyfriend to be with you, Isel. I was in that committed relationship for over 6 years, and I started talking with you online. I thought you were an amazing person, which you actually are in real life. You are an amazing person. You are a wonderful person. You're actually vegan. You're actually sober. You're an intellectual. In all these ways, you're an amazing person. Okay? But I was wanting to relive that, rekindle that. That was the best time in my life. When I met you in Dohong, that was the most exciting, most thrilling time in my life. I had the best sex in my life too. Like that is the reality. And I wanted that again. I wanted to relive that again. I wanted that again. I wanted us to be happy again. I wanted us to be back
you
to
and I.
Dohong. Yes.
But you were doing nothing to make me happy. You're cheating on me, you're betraying me, you're ruining our relationship forever.
Back with you. I felt we could never be there again because of the things that I'd done. Because of the fourth trip to France. Because of Shoe on Head Day. Because of Batman and Catwoman Day. Because of voting day, because of baking school, dropping out of baking school together, because of Nintendo Wii motion sensor day, because of my suicidality, because of my banging my head against the door, everything that I did that was insane. Me screaming at you about Veronica, me screaming about you about other women that you found sexy. Okay, this is all my fault.
Okay,
me reading your messages with the...
Okay. I want to read you another sentence here. In terms of my guilty conscience, so you're saying this to Abby. In terms of my guilty conscience, our relationship has been morally ambiguous. So you're saying your relationship...
No, it's just evil.
Agreed. You
It's
say
not
to
morally
him,
ambiguous,
you
it's
say to
just
him,
evil.
in terms of my guilty conscience, our relationship has been morally ambiguous, but I'm glad I fell in love with you. You gave me hope, you
Yeah, I was
inspired
in
me,
love with him.
and I can't beat
Yeah, in
myself
love
up
with
for
this
falling for
fucking
you.
retard.
I agree.
In love with
I
this-
think he's literally mentally
He's
disabled. I've heard his
literally
voice.
mentally retarded.
Yes.
Okay, and he's hideously ugly.
And you don't respect his opinion about anything. It's not like you talk...
Zero muscular development. He's just like hideous in every single way.
He does. I've actually given him some credit. He does have some muscular development. I've seen it. I've seen this guy naked a lot. To give some credit, he does work out at the gym. By the way, he manages.
Well, I'm one to talk.
Okay,
I
all right.
don't work out enough.
I know. He
enough
did
as
manage.
it is.
I've seen
I know
him.
what a
Okay.
pathetic creature I was.
Yeah.
Okay, well, if this guy,
My point is, look,
something's going for him.
regardless of whether or not he works out at the gym, which he does, credit to him. I mean, he is genetically at a disadvantage. He has an ugly body, but he works out at the gym. He tries to make it better, but he has a very ugly body. I've seen every inch of it at this point. I'm sorry, everything. His chest, his ass, everything. His dick, it's all hideous. But regardless, that's not the point. You don't respect his opinion about Joe Biden.
No.
You don't respect or find interesting his opinion about veganism,
No.
history, politics.
I
I know, but you are saying you're totally in love with him.
I view him 100% with contempt at what he says about any of those subjects.
Right.
He knows
Anything of
nothing,
substance.
He's an idiot.
Anything of substance, I know. But you are telling him you are totally in love with him. It's just like unfortunate circumstances that have kept you trapped with me. That's the evidence I'm looking at of what you say to him directly and what you say in your own kind of private diaristic writing where you're just writing stuff for yourself, your own reflections.
This could be a diary entry.
Yeah,
This could
right.
be a fucking novel. Okay,
Right,
I wish
I
I
know.
would have made it a novel instead. Because no, this guy, this thing that I'm fantasizing about is not actually this person. The person in reality, like the conversations that I actually have are so dull. They're about his working as a computer programmer for fucking Amazon. Like, there's nothing interesting about his days. There's nothing interesting about his friends. There's nothing interesting about what he's producing. He's not producing shit. He made a terrible podcast that we listened to together where you could hear a crinkling plastic chip bag by one of...
He sounded mentally retarded in that podcast.
Yes,
I'm just
his
being honest.
voice is terrible.
But I also mean the content of what he was saying.
Listen to. I still have the voice messages, and it's
I know,
terrible to
I know.
listen to.
But he actually sounds so stupid he's retarded in that podcast. Just my professional opinion. Okay, but you tell him you are truly in love with him. You tell it to him again and again and again. I'm going to read off tons of comments from you here outside of this. You were telling him...
Yes, I say it again and again. I say that I love him again and again in these messages.
Yeah, and you want to leave me for him. That's what you're telling him. So is that a lie? Is your relationship with me a lie? Is your relationship with him a lie?
My relationship with him is a lie.
Okay. So you say to him, thank you for your encouragement to go into the field of computer science. So like you were planning to, according to this, leave me and become a computer programmer so that you could live with him in Seattle. It's not, but this for you, as you say, even in this message,
I'm
you
sorry
say,
for laughing.
I know!
Ridiculous to think that I would be a computer programmer. Ridiculous. I have zero background in that. I was 28 years old.
But let's put this in focus. You would not do that for me. If I asked you, if I said to you, Melissa, I won't get married to you unless you become a computer programmer, I think you still couldn't do that. Couldn't do that, wouldn't it? I think you'd have to say, look, Eisel, it's been fun, but there's no way I can do this.
I think it's some stupid thing
I know.
because, like, my friend Alice told me that she did coding camp. Like, oh, maybe I should do that. I'm in a pathetic situation where I don't have any future. Maybe I can do coding. Like, it's so stupid. And I know, I get the seriousness of this. I get the gravity of it. I get that you had been purchasing books for me to try to have a career, in finance. Like, that was what I was supposed to be researching
one of
at
many,
this time.
many things I gave you encouragement. Right, yeah.
Yes,
one of many options.
Which is not retarded.
Yep.
I've been studying Chinese.
Yep. Combination of Chinese and economics.
I had been interested in importing and exporting. Like, I had been talking to you about all these different options. It's not totally stupid for me to think that I could get involved in finance. Like, it is true. I have no background in that either. My degree is in English. I didn't take any courses on business at all. I didn't take any courses on mathematics. So yeah, me getting a degree in finance at age 28, it's hard to say that I could actually have made that work. But still, you were confident. You were encouraging me. Okay? And no, computer programming would have been a terrible idea. It's a stupid idea. I wish I had never spent any time looking at it. I don't even know how many days it was that I actually did spend, maybe 1 week or something that I was looking at. I remember I did prepare like one keynote file in which
you
I
say,
did some exercises.
for me, this has been real love. I've lost sleep over you. I've fallen asleep thinking about you. I've dreamed about you. I've woken up thinking about you. I've lost hours of productivity. Started having space to think about you. For the better part of a year, my mind has been open. You say further, multiple times I've been on the verge of leaving, i.e., leaving Isel leaving to pursue a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship with you. I dreamed that we could be happy and free to do all the things we've talked about doing together. Which is nothing. I mean, there's no. It's porn. It's just it. I mean,
all the things we've talked about
like
doing.
Anal, like oral and anal. I mean, there's no. I'm sorry, I've read the messages. There's just no substance.
Talked about having sex.
Even the
orally,
fantasy,
vaginally, and anally.
That's it. Yeah,
touching each other.
No, just imagine what if I had written this to a woman? What if positions were reversed? Like you just don't. It's just so mind-blowing.
You would never do that.
I know.
That's why I admire you and think that you're a good person.
Yeah, well, I don't exactly
Nobody
think
respects
you're a good
me
person.
anymore.
That is correct.
Whatever respect people
including the
have
men
for
you
me,
were trying to fuck behind my back. The men you were trying to cheat on me with. They don't respect you. I've seen the messages.
Counterproductive. If I had actually wanted to have sex with any of these men that I was talking to online, then I wouldn't have done any of this. If I had actually wanted them to respect me, I would have done so many different things. But look, I've made myself a completely despicable person, and nobody will ever respect me, and nobody ever did anyway, so I knew that at the time. Nobody respected me. Nobody respected my opinion. Nobody cares about what I have to say. Nobody cares, what Melissa Dammits has to think about, anything.
That's right.
Nobody cares.
You made your choice in the last 5 years.
Nobody cared before.
Right? The person you are today is the part of the choice.
Nobody gave a fuck about what I had to say on my YouTube channel.
Correct.
Period.
And
the only subscribers that I had were because of your channel.
Let me point out.
People that seemed slightly interested in me and subscribed to my channel. That's it.
Yes.
And then the one person who was a fan of your channel, who seemed to be a fan of my channel, I completely lost my objectivity about. I went completely insane.
Okay, I want to read this. Another very short paragraph, 3 sentences. I keep thinking of that last call where you said, quote, "You know I'd do anything for you, right? I have lied awake in bed at night thinking that
anything for me. When this shit went down, just in the last few weeks, zero response from him other than, let's try to take the video down. Let's try to take the blog post down.
Right. Let's try to cry censorship. Right.
So your wife doesn't find out what the fuck you did at the time that you guys were getting married. So your wife doesn't find out that you made a fake email so that you could message me and all the other cam whores you used to know.
You and how many other girls we don't know. That's right. As a matter of speculation. But we have no reason to think you were special to
No way. He was lying to me the entire time. We just read those emails we just read the messages from the very start.
Right.
There was no way I was the first person that he had a cam whore relationship with.
Right. He knew what to do.
I probably was.
He was well practiced.
One of tens, dozens.
As a matter of speculation, you suspect this, but we don't know that for a fact. All right. So you say to him here, I have lied awake in bed at night thinking...
Such fucking bullshit.
I have lied awake at bed at night thinking that...
What the fuck had he done for me at this point?
Nothing.
It's just...
He masturbated. He filmed himself ejaculating into a toilet for you. That is what he did for you, and you loved it. It turned you... It's also, this is your fault. It turned you on so much. If some women sent me videos like that, I wouldn't be turned on. I'd think it was anyway, it would have a negative effect on me. I'd say to the woman, look, you are discrediting yourself as a romantic partner by sending me this kind of video. I wouldn't say this is great, I love it or something. But yes, all he did was film himself masturbating and ejaculating into a toilet for you.
Yep.
And I've seen the dialogues where you're talking to him about something and he just says to you, he wants to come. He says, Abby wants to come, or says, Mel, I want to come. And then you jump up from your desk. You say, I will lie to my boyfriend and say I'm reading a book and do this. I will lie to my boyfriend and say I'm having a health problem and run away to the... I will lie to my boyfriend and say I need to go to the bathroom and have diarrhea, or I'm working out at the gym so I can go to another space and masturbate on camera for you, whether it's on live stream or pre-recorded. Then you did this again and again and again. You did this hundreds of times. That was your choice. You're not having sex with me. You're not working towards our better future together. You're doing that for this guy.
Yeah, and I actually was ruining my life. He actually gets to keep his job.
Right.
He gets to keep his fucking life, his apartment. He had an apartment.
Yes.
He had a job.
And he has...
I didn't. Yes. Okay? I was living under your roof, Isel.
Yeah.
I was not paying rent.
Nope.
I had no apartment for myself. I had barely any belongings to myself.
Yep.
Barely anything in my life belonged to me. I had no money in my bank account.
You have a lot of video games. But
but they're not mine. They're yours.
You have your own video games too. It's no big deal. Keep going.
I have nothing. I am a homeless person.
Yeah.
Okay? This is the situation. That was the situation then. It's the situation 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay? I had zero money. Nothing. I had nothing to my name. I had zero career. Well, he gets to keep his apartment. He gets to keep his career. He gets to keep his family.
And if he breaks you up with me, if he ruins your relationship with me, you lose everything. Correct.
Exactly.
Correct. But you did this. It was all your initiative. As you even acknowledge in this message.
I know, but it's pathetic. This shit of him saying he'll do anything for me.
Right.
Words are wind. It means nothing.
Yes. No, he is
and
not.
I was willing to say to him,
no, he is not.
That means so much to me. These
he is not even.
blandishments.
He is not even willing. He is not even willing to offer you a spare room in his apartment. I know. Whenever you talk about going to stay with him, he doesn't want to. He just wants you to be his cam whore. I just say that comes out in the conversations. You have to read a lot of pages of this stuff. But anyway, so you say, I keep thinking of that call where you said, I'd do anything for you, right? Close quote. I have lied awake in bed at night thinking that I don't want to go the rest of my life not knowing how it feels to be held in your arms. In my head, I cry out how I love you and need you, how it would be a tragedy if we never met. That is what you are saying to him. Well, you are doing this behind my back, and you are really bitching me out and condemning me. And again, you would have had sex with me like at least 3 times the same day you wrote this email. You would have had sex with me 3 times, and I would have spent an hour talking to you about your career and education issues, possibly the vegan movement, politics. I just say, the number of hours we spend having long, meaningful conversations every day doesn't stop. We have this very intense, meaningful relationship, not just sexually, while you are doing this behind my back, while you are sneaking around to do this in bathrooms, and so on and so forth.
Okay, Isel, ever since the gift to Oliver, that was in September of 2022.
Yep.
Ever since then, your 44th birthday.
Yep.
Nothing has been the same. I have not kept track of things. But yeah, at this time, I was keeping track of things in a spreadsheet. I think I can go back. I don't know. I might have actually jotted down on various days the number of times that we had sex. Okay, like I can go back and look and see like what we did from day to day.
I guarantee you were not keeping track of how many times we had sex. But go on, yeah. Okay, I remember. I've been on.
It's just
we had sex so often it wasn't worth keeping track of. But go on, yeah.
I know. Yeah. But still, like, I mean, you can go back and see, like, what things happened on certain days. Yes, it's true. Many days we had situations in which I was abusive to you, I was cruel to you, but
we have to have sex on those days anyway. You say we had a lot of sex this whole period. Go on.
Yes, we did, and I feel really fucking bad about that. I feel really bad because you didn't know this was going on behind your back. How is it possible that I was doing this to the man that I love? How is it possible that I was writing this email to another man in the same room as the man that I love? Well, which one is it? Is it that I love you or is it that I loved Abby? Well, I don't know. Did I love Leo or did I love you? Did I love Oliver or did I love you? Did I love Eric Johnson and did I love you?
Yeah,
Any of these situations. Did I love Matt Colombo or did I love you?
Right.
Well, okay, I had messages with Matt Colombo, but behind your back. You didn't know the extent of my messages with Matt Colombo.
Yep.
Okay, so what?
Yeah, the nature of the lies of Matt are very, very strange. I mean, I don't need to get into them, but yeah, it's much more bizarre than anyone could reasonably suppose from that.
So was it that I just didn't love you? You know?
Well, Occam's razor says yes, but maybe there's a more. Occam's razor means the simplest explanation. The simplest explanation is you never loved me. I'm just being real with you. Probably if we're talking to a professional therapist, they'd say the simplest explanation is you are some kind of cold, unfeeling psychopath who didn't feel love for anyone, like not for me and not for any of the other guys. That's not my opinion. I'm just saying it's a kind of standard therapeutic approach is say, well, this is a woman who doesn't feel love towards anyone involved. Another perspective, what's the other perspective? That you love everyone but me? You tell me. It's a matter of speculation. Try to make sense of it.
You've said that earlier. You said that earlier today, that I've never loved anybody. I never loved any of these men.
It's a working hypothesis. I mean, what can I tell you?
Okay, so I'm just a cold, unfeeling psychopath that was just taking advantage of you from the very start of our relationship, Isel. That's what you said.
Okay. So April 6th, 2021. You have been masturbating for this guy for just a few days less than 1 full year. You've been a cam whore for this guy for a little bit less than 1 full year. Because that started April 20th, 2020. This is April 6th, 2021. Again, short paragraph. Abby, you sent me a photo of your ring and I was overwhelmed. I know it's just a picture and you asked me via messages if I'd marry you. But if you can imagine being me, ... So this is you saying, you're talking to him about getting married. That he... who proposed marriage to who first in their question? I think you proposed marriage to him first, but regardless, he apparently sent you a picture of the ring and proposed marriage. Yeah, and asked if you would marry him. Okay, so this is circa April 6th, 2021. Okay, and now you continue. You say, I don't feel like a good person when I am in a super high commitment relationship with Isel and I have another genuinely, really incredible person who I love and trust asking to marry me. Okay? So you're saying Eisel is another genuinely really incredible person whom you love and trust who is asking you to marry him. So it's two of us. We're both such amazing people. We're both asking you to get married. Now, I just want to say, when this guy whips out a ring and sends you a photograph of it and asks you for him, you could say no. You don't say no. This is what you say. This is your response. I am just afraid that from the start, I haven't been making responsible choices given that you weren't an open relationship person. You even said once that you don't care about it, and yeah, I think the expectations we had are not in agreement. You know what I mean? That is your response.
It's despicable. It's disgusting. I hate myself. I want to kill myself. I don't know what else to say. I
Quote.
hate my life. I hate what I've become. I hate the person who did this. I hate everything about it. I want to be a different person. I want to disappear. I want to crawl into a hole.
You had those choices.
Die.
You had those options.
To crawl into a hole and die.
No, you have the choice to be a better person. That was the point when I just said that. You have the option to be a better person. You have choices to make. Same day, April 6th,
but how can
2021.
I ever get over this? How can I ever get past this?
I cried last night before sleep because I still miss you. Like I said, I think about you every day. The one thing I can say, you are making constant statements of love, etc. to him, and constant statements that you want to marry him, not me. And the same day, these are very, very brief. You ask him, you want to marry me? ? He answers, yeah. You answer, wow. Abby, like drawing out the vowel of his name. And you then say, but I'm practically married already. And he says, wow, really? Are you joking? So indicating me. So you are pressing him to get married again and again. And so the same day, you get on camera and masturbate for him, I think an hour and a half after that point in the conversation. You're pushing him to marry you. You're pushing him to commit to you. He doesn't want to. He is actually saying no politely. He basically says no, he's not going to marry you. As the conversation goes on, that no, he has better options. And then he says, he wants to have an orgasm, and you are a cam whore for him.
Meaning he can pay for an arranged marriage in India.
Okay.
That's the better option. You said that she's more beautiful than me. So
Melissa,
this
I'm going to be
woman
fair.
In India is more beautiful than me, and he could pay for it, and he's going to provide for it
Right.
because he's got a job working for fucking Amazon. And no, I'm a 31-year-old broke, homeless bitch.
Okay,
that's who I am right now.
Not everyone wants to be an intellectual. Like, I do not want to be married to Abby's wife because I care about things like politics and history, etc., etc. My schedule of values, I would rather be with someone less attractive who has other redeeming qualities, including veganism. I care about intellectual qualities and ethical qualities. The most damaging thing about this controversy is that it reveals the extent to which, ethically and intellectually, you are not the person I thought you were.
A fake intellectual.
Yes, and you're a fake moral person too. You're a fake ethical person.
People that I wanted to impress by being an intellectual no longer are impressed by me and never were impressed by me. Never respected me. You
that
never
has
respected
happened.
me.
That
you
is
never
true.
thought my writing was good. You criticized my writing endlessly. It's terrible. You criticize my YouTube videos endlessly. They're terrible. You never had any intellectual respect for me. You wanted me to be a more intellectual person, and you spent time trying to teach me. I have to express gratitude for that. Yes, I have learned a lot from you. I know a lot more. What have I done with that?
Right. You masturbated in the bathroom while this guy ejaculated in the toilet. That's what you did with that opportunity.
Right.
You were given the opportunity of a lifetime to go back to college, etc.
Everything that I did with researching different career options, different educational
Right.
opportunities means nothing.
Right.
All that it
Correct.
matters is that I masturbated with this guy on camera and
Correct.
watched him ejaculate into a toilet on camera.
Correct. And
So
if
nothing else matters.
it's my turn. And if positions were reversed, you
So
feel
your respect for me is completely
wait.
gone because I masturbated on camera with this guy and because I told him
and you told me you wanted to marry him, etc.
Yeah.
It's way worse than just. I mean, it's not. If you'd actually worked as a professional cam whore, it wouldn't be that bad. If people paid you to masturbate on camera and you didn't have this infidelity,
Yeah, I know.
you could have been open.
I'm worse than a whore.
Of course.
Because a whore could be honest with their actual person that they're married to.
Many prostitutes have a husband or a primary boyfriend, and they're honest and loyal to him. You were disloyal to me in this radical way.
Right, so I'm worse than a whore. I'm not an intellectual.
Well, some
I'll
whores.
never be an intellectual.
So you're worse than some whores.
I can go the rest of my life
let's be reasonable.
trying to learn Chinese, trying to read every single book on, within the corpus of literature from ancient Greece and ancient Rome. And I'll never be an intellectual. All I'll be is the woman who betrayed you the woman who was masturbating on camera with this guy and watching him ejaculate into a toilet.
And you're asking him repeatedly to marry you.
And
Let me say it goes way beyond that.
And I'm asking him repeatedly to marry me. And I'm writing this long, drawn-out email in which I'm saying that I think about him when I fall asleep, and I wake up thinking about him, and I'm dreaming about him. And I'm masturbating thinking about him.
And not mentioning that you're having sex with me multiple times.
And I can't go the rest of my life without ever meeting him.
Yep. And he's not the only one. You've alluded to already. There were several other men this have the same pattern. But anyway, go on.
Yes.
This is the most extreme example out of the men, but yeah.
So,
and all he says to you, so you tell him on the same day, this is all within one day, there were thousands of men, but within April 6th, you tell him you want to marry him. And he basically responds by saying he wants to come, he wants you to sneak away to the bathroom and film on camera and show his face so he can, quote unquote, so he can jack off. And
really great guy.
That was his response to that. And you do it for him.
Shows real devotion to
and
me.
you do it for him.
Showing unconditional love to me, yeah. Yeah, he really loves me because he jacks off on camera and masturbates and takes a picture of himself.
And he then
ejaculating into a toilet. Takes a video of him ejaculating into his toilet.
Right. And
that he doesn't even fucking clean. He had a house cleaner clean his fucking house.
Right.
His apartment. It's not even a house. He had to hire a cleaner to clean his apartment.
Okay.
What a fucking lazy piece of shit.
After he has ejaculated, you say to him that you want to be with him in person, and he is basically saying, look, when can we arrange to do a video call? You know, I'm simplifying a long conversation. But you guys go until midnight one day, and then you're messaging the next morning at 8 a.m. Some days you go till 1 a.m., and then you're messaging the next morning at 9 a.m. or whatever. But like some days you talk to him till 11, and the next morning you're messaging him at 7.
I lost a year plus of my life to this.
Right. Really 4 years of my life have been destroyed by this. If you put all the men together, it's like 3 years of my life are directly destroyed by this. 3 years of your life also, and like 4 years in total are kind of like indirectly ruined by this. Yeah, so that's what you chose. So you said to me, I'm sorry, but before you were saying in a kind of hyperbolic overton way, you're like, okay, so you have no intellectual respect for me just because I did this one thing, being a cam whore.
Yeah, no matter
and
what I do.
And no, it's much more complex than that. I mean, it's fine if you want to reduce it to one sentence. You know, and if positions were reversed, how much intellectual respect would you have for me? How intelligent would you think I am? How ethical and moral would you think I am? If I had done exactly what you had done behind your back, cheating on you and deceiving you, you would think, Eisel, this is evidence that you're an idiot. This is this is evidence that you're totally immoral. Eisel, this is evidence that you're not the person I thought you were. I thought you were studying Chinese. And again, it's not just Chinese. We can make this long. I thought you were reading Aristotle. I thought you were working towards this better future. And now in reality, I find out in reality who you were and what you were doing. Mm-hmm. That's what that would be. Right? So that's the situation I'm in. So it's not as simple as saying your studying Chinese counts for nothing because you betrayed me. This reveals who you really were during a 4-year period for many, many hours of the day after day after day. It reveals what you really want. It reveals what you really think of me. I mean, I can fish around and read you the comments verbatim, but you know, like you really do say things like, "Oh, I'm only reading this book because Eisel is forcing me to." Like that. I mean, you know, that's not betrayal in the normal sense. It's not like, "Oh, you betrayed me because you didn't want to read this book," but you were lying to me in that respect also. Where it's like you don't really want to read this book. You know, you're directly telling the staff, "Oh, he's forcing me." And you describe how you carry out deception over time again to create the appearance that you're getting more reading done than you really are, and how what you really want to do is what you really do, cheating on me with this guy, etc., etc. So I mean, as I say, it reveals who you really are. If I had been pretending to be an intellectual this time,
the reason why we started recording this video is because you were reading this letter and you said we should break up. I think we should break up today. And I asked you, okay, you want to break up? I'll pack my bags and I'll leave.
Right. So that is not what I said.
I asked, do you really want to break up? And you said, no, I don't really want to break
exactly.
up. We started talking.
Okay.
You were reading more of the letter.
Right, there's no point in me clarifying exactly what I said and why, but no, I did not want to break up with you. And when you asked, do you want to break up with me? I said no, and that's why. What I said to you was more along the lines of declaring with amazement. Like I said things like, "How do you live with yourself when you did this?" And it was like the point is, how can you live here in this apartment with me and not break up with me while doing this behind my back? That was the sense of what I was saying.
How can I go to Spain with you?
Yeah, how can you go on these vacations with me? How can you tell me all these lies you're telling me day after day when what you're telling this guy is, I don't have to summarize. When this is what you're telling this guy.
So you read that letter,
right?
And you
I'm
said,
asking you what's your own
It's not possible that you loved me and you loved Abby at the same time. Which one is it?
Right.
Did you love me and you were lying to Abby, or were you in love with Abby and lying to me?
Great question.
Okay. And you said, you had said that this was all a hoax. My relationship with you, Eisel, was all a hoax.
I am asking the question.
Okay, but that was what you were saying.
I asked you to tell me the truth.
And I'm
yeah, I know, but it's a question. It's a challenge.
You are
What's
a
real?
person who has good intentions when you talk to me.
Yeah.
You don't say things for no reason. You don't say things just to be hurt, just to hurt me.
Correct.
Just to be hurtful.
That is correct.
You
Nothing
have
I've said in this
reasons
conversation is
behind
good.
what you're saying.
Yes.
I have devastated you. I have broken your heart. I have ruined many different opportunities for you. Generally, don't need to get into specifics here, but yes, I have really fucked up your life for 7 years.
Yes.
All right. So what is you said? I need to say what the truth is.
Right.
Okay. And I tried to say there is. So what is the truth?
You say to Absec right here.
Was I trying to fuck up your life from the moment we got together?
You say to Absec here, April 8th, I love you. He says, I love you too. You say, I just want to be with you. You're so special to me. I want to be with you forever. You tell him you want to have a child with him. You tell him you want to get married. And this dude has none of the redeeming qualities you are looking for in a husband. Actually, I've read enough of the messages. You don't have any of the qualities he's looking for in a wife. That's why he married the particular woman he did. Mm-hmm. Like, but the point is, you're very limited sexual interest in this guy. Because, he's just, whatever. He's not that sexually attractive to you in any way.
No.
That was enough for you to ruin your relationship with me forever. That was enough for you to throw away all of the kind of projects and plans we had. Like, not just romantically, not just getting married and having a child together, but to throw away everything you want to do in career and education. Just this little bit of desire and infatuation.
Something you said last night that I thought was really brilliant.
Yeah.
You said, you're reading the messages and you see at the beginning period I was cool and detached. I had some detachment.
Yes. Lasted about 10 days, but yeah, right.
Yeah. Then I had this overwhelming desire.
Right.
To have sex with him.
Right.
And that was before I knew that he was a virgin.
Right.
It was before
Correct.
He had made himself out to
yes, I read what he said.
Maybe he hasn't had
maybe he hadn't
had a long-term girlfriend, but
he later admits that he's a virgin, but at that point he is misleading you.
Yeah, my interpretation of what he would say.
Correct.
Yes.
No, I've seen the messages. That is correct.
I didn't know what his dick looked like. Period. So
you find out a couple days later.
I know,
but
I had certain ideas about what our meeting would be like, and here you read from the messages.
Right.
Okay, I had agreed to be in an open relationship with Isel. We'd been in an open relationship for 3 years at that point, and I had wanted to meet up with a fan of his channel who messaged me, Leo. I had wanted to meet up with him and have sex with him prior to this. And I'd also had messages with this guy, Eric Johnson, who is not even vegan. Right. But, and
I think it is also fair to say you wanted to meet up and have sex with the shockingly younger member of my channel, but that didn't get to any kind of planning stage. But go on.
Yeah. I had never had a message. Well, I had a message.
No, but you didn't get to brass tacks on that. You didn't actually start plotting yet. But you already had that fixed notion in your mind, which grows out of control in the months to come.
Right.
Go on, yep.
Instagram had made me think, like, okay, I can have sex with someone. So, that didn't work out with Leo. He didn't end up meeting me.
Yep.
And I was in this apartment, and I got on Tinder from the time I came to Victoria. Even before we moved into this apartment, I was here for a couple days in an Airbnb where I was on Tinder and just like looking through the options, I had a couple brief conversations on Tinder, nothing serious, nothing to this level. I didn't actually have any connections outside of the Tinder app. So this was a guy that I matched with.
Right.
And I had ideas about what our sexual meeting would be like. That Isel and I had talked about. That I could meet with a guy.
Right.
Have sex with him. But ideally, we would go out to coffee first. We would do something first. I could get to know the guy a little bit, have sex, and that, because I'd only had really intense, serious commitment sex throughout my life.
Right.
And this was...
And that's what this becomes... You wanted to get pregnant with this baby 2 weeks after you start chatting with him.
Okay, yes, but it was supposed to be at the start just somebody that I met up with and had a fling with. Okay?
Yep.
Turns out he's a virgin. Turns out his penis is messed up. Turns out...
He has a heart condition also.
Turns out he has a heart condition.
So he has a deformed penis and he has a heart valve problem. Right.
Right. Turns out he's just a fucked up person.
You know how to pick him.
Yeah.
And he has the fucking intellectual substance of like a chewing gum paperweight. Go on.
But I had this desire, and I allowed myself to become deluded, to have fantasies, to have hallucinations. Basically, I had just completely irrational thoughts about this person because of this original desire. I wanted to meet up with this guy and have sex, and I wanted to do the thing that I'd seen in Hollywood movies of people just having a one-night stand and whatever. you know, like, I just wanted to have the kind of carefree sex that I never had and never thought I could have. Okay, this was supposed to be a time in my life.
And he is obviously the wrong guy for that. Among other things, he's a virgin, he's a religious maniac. But go on.
He is obviously the wrong guy for it.
Right.
I should have just accepted, no.
I just want to say this on the record. You've heard it before. The audience heard it. It would have been better if you slept with a male prostitute. You could have paid a male prostitute, a very attractive man, to have sex with you for 1 hour. It would be over in 1 hour. He'd get up and leave. I could have sat in the hotel room while you had sex with a male prostitute. Yeah. But you were spending like 12 hours a day with cheating on me, not just with this guy, with several guys. It's so much worse than you sleeping with a male prostitute.
Yes, throughout this time.
And if positions were reversed, you'd say the same about me. You would say, if I had ruined 4 years of your life cheating on you this way, you would have said, Eisel, it would be better if you had slept with a female prostitute. You would say that hypothetically position.
Yes, agreed. You haven't. You've never slept with a prostitute.
No.
I've never slept with a prostitute. But certainly, if I had, this wouldn't have fucked up our life. It would have been...
We would not be...
2 hours maximum or something. I don't know, trying to arrange the meeting, trying to find a male prostitute. If we actually had to fly somewhere, if we had to fly to Amsterdam for me to have sex with a male prostitute.
Good example, sure.
Then, all right, that would have taken some time, but then you would have had a trip to Amsterdam. It could have been a happy memory for the rest of our lives. But no, this is a terrible, terrible, disgusting series
If we were making a video about the time you had sex with a male prostitute, we'd both be sitting and laughing about it. It would be no big deal. Like, oh, yeah, remember? Remember that time, we flew to Amsterdam? It would be no big deal instead of this being like...
disgusting, secretive,
dirty. A decade of acrimony and self-hatred or something.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's just going to go on and on and on. I don't know how I can possibly make this better. I want to make it better.
Okay, so let's end the video there. Let's ask the audience for suggestions. How can you make this better? Look into the camera and ask. Women, ladies in the audience.
How can I make this better? I want to spend my life with Eisel. Eisel wants to spend his life with me. We both love each other very much. But I have really, really broken his heart. I have really done unforgivable things.
4 years.
Like
4 years.
The sexual aspect of our relationship.
It's true. That's 7 years.
It's supposed to be. Yes, I was supposed to be positive since at the age of 24 about him having other sexual partners, about me having other sexual partners, about us all having sexual partners.
And it was supposed to be open and honest.
Open, honest, happy.
3 ways and 4 ways where nobody's lied to and nobody gets their heart broken.
Yeah, it could have been great, but no, I managed to ruin everything. And
right. So the question is, what now? What next?